And also, I wanna see only 3 things in português. Aí, galera, queria dizer 3 coisas aí. Black Lives Matter, fora Bolsonaro e fogo nos racistas. Tamo junto.
You should know who this dude is because
it is so to me to have grown up in MMA being like, this is a sport for everybody. This is a sport for grandmas. This is a sport for, you know, white, black, tall, short, rich, poor, East Coast, West Coast, you name it. Like, that's who the sport is for. It can be for anybody. Anybody can, we can prove that we can be successful as a sport and UFC as a brand. And we can prove that this is something for everybody. And now it's like, yeah, we just want Nick Fuentes' audience.
The UFC and largely MMA is alt-right at this point.
But once you start to bring not the president, but a candidate into events and parade him, you know, octagon side, well, you've said to every fan that you may have had that has a difference of opinion. And that's just purely speaking left and right. That's beyond what we've heard outside of that about, you know, kind of cultural conditioning kinds of things. You've told me how you feel about me as a fan. And quite frankly, I don't like to feel in any of my relationships that discarded and abused. So I will find something else to do with my time.
It has turned many off.
This is the sport for people like that. That's their sport. This is theirs now. And as a consequence, I mean, I realize that UFC just signed a big deal, but 7 years is not forever. I guess we'll see how things go. But whatever happens to the sport is their responsibility. Like, whatever happens from here on out is they own it. They own it. This is theirs. It's not my sport anymore. You know what I mean? And not to be, I mean, some level it never was, but you know what I mean? Like, the thing that the project that I felt like I was a part of building doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. It's finished.
Because Dana White and company have made it clear who they want their audience to be. Thus, when we see someone like Caleb Prates, we lift them up with our support. He called out Bolsonaro, and the translation to his comments reads as, "Set the racists on fire." This has a deeper meaning, which I'll explain. The phrase "fire on racists" became one of the anthems of the anti-racist struggle in Brazil. The iconic verse is the chorus of the 2017 single Ojo del Tigre, written by 28-year-old rapper Junga. The song sings sharp verses against racism and fascism in Brazil, with lyrical anger that informs the author's awareness of his unique identity as a young black slum with skin, of his role in the collectivity, his pride, and the call for contemporary black youth. Additionally, Black Pantera, a Brazilian band, would start their show with a Malcolm X quote from Afropunk. The title translates to "Fire on the Racists," a Brazilian anti-racist battle cry, and the accompanying video does not shy away from the fire. Black Pantera is always at their best when their knives are sharpest, and on Fogo nos Racistas, the band slows the tempo down and unleashes their rawest fury. The band pushes the bass to the forefront for one of their tightest riffs to date, issuing a sound that calls back to the early 90s when acts like Soulfly and Helmet roamed the earth. The impact is an absolute detonation. Black Pantera's forthcoming full length cannot come soon enough. To go back to Prates, it is rather revealing that we have a lefty in MMA, because just one example is Sean Strickland, the pro-Trump misogynist who thinks women belong in the kitchen and even promoted one podcaster who wore a shirt reading "Women shouldn't vote," would put this out on his Instagram page. It is simply festering throughout the world of mixed martial arts.
If anyone wants to know, this is what we're about. It's Rise Above movement.
Robert Rundo is a really significant force in the far-right space, and I would venture to say that he is one of the most dangerous white supremacists currently active in the mixed martial arts space.
When Robert Rundo looked at Denise Nikitin, he saw an example, someone he can copy and someone he could become, you know, a small version of for the US market.
Rundo co-founded the Rise Above movement, basically a US version of White Ricks. Billing itself as the premier MMA club of the alt-right, the group claimed to have more than 50 members and forged links with far-right groups in Europe. Things were going pretty well for the group. That's until Rondo and other Rise Above movement members were charged after attacking counter-demonstrators at MAGA rallies across the US.
So basically, for many of the neo-Nazis who are practicing MMA, almost a natural next step is, being prepared yourself. So keeping your body and keeping your fighting skills up to date. But that's obviously isn't enough. And the logical next step is acquiring weapons. That starts with knives, and it's only a matter of time when the next neo-Nazi MMA fighter will take up firearms and commit a terrorist attack.
This is a secretive neo-Nazi conference.
Make no mistake, we are at war.
Attended by gym owners, coaches, trainers, networking with white supremacists that are conducting military-style drills. The topic of the event, forming disciplined groups of men who can rebuild our world amidst the coming wreckage. We obtain video, identify organizers and attendees, and expose how this movement, which often gathers in privately owned gyms, is growing in Canada.
We're just kind of trying to figure out why you were there. Hello?
Members of Second Sons and other groups gathered in Vancouver in July for a conference run by the Exiles of the Golden Age, a white supremacist group that's really into mixed martial arts. One of the speakers, Marcus Folin, a Swedish white supremacist YouTuber.
Are you against whites having power? Then you are the anti-white extreme one.
And American Paul Wagner.
What we do is not an escapism, nor is it a fantasy. It is a war for our future.
But the Canadians who were there include at least 3 people wearing Second Sons Canada uniforms, and Josh Bruce and Robertson DeChazle, co-owners of a white supremacist clothing brand. So we uncover well-known white supremacists and people linked to prominent groups. We also find people you might not expect, gym owners and coaches. Here's Lane Palmer. Palmer, who sometimes goes by Lane Jackson, is an organizer according to the Exiles. And we match his photo to the profile of a coach at West Shore Boxing Gym in Langford, BC. We also spot him in this video released by the Exiles. We also find Carl Stornis Bliss. He co-owns a strength training company which frequently operates out of a gym in Mission, BC. He was also a children's coach there at one point. And in this photo on the gym's Instagram page, he shows off a tattoo of a skull symbol used by the Nazi SS. And in this photo, there's a Nazi SS symbol on the back of his helmet. Here's Ron Pierce, owner of Foundry Combat Sports in Duncan, BC. His gym teaches adults and children with diverse backgrounds. Pierce can be seen wearing the same sweater in a photo from his gym's Instagram.
Mixed martial arts and combat sports, many of them can be significant gateways to far-right extremism. But I have to stress that it doesn't always have to be this way. There are plenty of anti-fascist and progressive-leaning mixed martial arts. This is a space they may have co-opted, but it is not a space that belongs solely to them.
We have seen how Dana White has allowed his entire sport to be used as the propaganda arm for a fascistic administration and a man who wants to be king. We have seen how Dana White, the Fertittas, and many others will not do anything at all as it pertains to so many fighters and how they decide to target so many communities. This is what MMA is in 2026. It is why so many people are turned off, and it is why it is bar none the most right-wing pro-Trump sport. It's all because of Dana White, the guy who on New Year's Eve in Cabo struck his wife twice in the face. Him and Trump have a lot in common. Donald Trump has not only, per the court records, abused women, but there have also been plenty of other women who have come forward discussing his transgressions sexually. His ex-wife would say that he raped her and then recanted. When I look at MMA, I look at an opportunity miss, because as much as they view themselves as the outcasts and the rebels, really what they are doing is bending the knee to the powerful. And in many spaces, whether in this country or throughout the world, we are seeing the rise of far-right politics and how many people in positions of power, coaches, trainers, etc., are utilizing MMA to then get their students and their pupils into the right-wing pipeline.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/tytsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.